I can plug and play the different categories into my template based on the likes and dislikes of the people that are living in my mansion, right? Because honestly, sometimes it just changes and you'll have like one bossy grandma that's like, we are not doing salad. And then all the other grandmas rallying like, no, that's for rabbits. We're not doing that. And I'm like, all right, I guess we'll take it off the template. What's up, mansion builders? Welcome back to another episode of Assisted Living Investing. I'm here today to talk to you about the menu, right? Your chef menu system. When I first got into this, I was really overwhelmed about the chef menu. And if you follow us at Platinum Resort online, you see the food that we post, right? We have a private chef for each of our mansions. We have some really fantastic, gorgeous food. There's a lot of variety there. It's all scratch made. It's fantastic. And I think it's super important for this niche for end of life, right? Because everybody complains about the food at the big smelly facility. It's like, oh my gosh, can mom get some decent food here, right? And is one of our selling points. It's one of the things that make us unique is we have a residential looking building and feel and environment, but you happen to have your own private chef and pretty much a commercial kitchen there. So I wanted to have this amenities when we were first getting started. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, like how do I create this system for this? What if my chef doesn't have experience? How are they gonna do all the menu planning? And I wanted to build a system that was pretty plug and play. I wanted to build something that I could create and then hand off to my manager or hand off to my chef and really have no involvement in it, right? Like that's really my goal. And I wanna show you today, here's the system that we developed to be pretty plug and play, where it's easy for the chef to use. He can create a monthly menu in just a few minutes, less than an hour, where I can have a lot of variety on my menu and not be serving the same things over and over again every single week, but I can also keep my budget in check and not have a lot of food waste. So let me unpack this for you today. I think this can be very applicable if you're already up and operating. Here's how to use a system and a template to do this. And if you're not operating yet, this is something you can take note on or come back to this at a later time and say, okay, here's how I want to get with my chef, get with my manager, and create a system just like this. So the most important thing to this system is the template. I created a weekly food template, and I'll unpack what that means. But ultimately, I'm not choosing foods at random and then having my favorite ones that I seem to be like, oh, we're having hamburgers and fries again. And it's like the third day this week, right? It's like we're repeating the same things over and over again. I have a system and a template now where there's literally 500 different options, right? And so they are always having a variety and it can always be seasonal and kind of customized to what people are liking and not liking as things are moving and we have different residents that move in. So the template is super important because you're not having to change just a bunch of different food and move them around, right? It's not the food that's the issue, it's the template that can be modified when you're having a problem or when you need to change seasonally. So here's my template. Essentially, it's a 1 week template, right? I have my 7 days and I have it broken into breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert, right? So every single day, I know what's gonna happen on these things and I'm building on my menu with 4 items per day, right? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert. So I think of this template as a bunch of fill in the blank sections, right? I have seven breakfasts going across, 7 lunches, 7 dinners, 7 desserts. And then from there, I have other things. I have categories and I have a variety of categories that I'm able to plug into my template, right? If I have 7 different lunches, I can pull 7 different types of categories. And I'll talk about that in just a second here. But it allows me to have a plug and play system where I can have variety and I can plan for chef's days off. I can plan for easy days. I can plan for, we need to get rid of excess food on the last day of the week and all of these different kind of things. So here's how we do breakfast. Breakfast is more continental style because our chef is not even there yet. He has prepped the hot item for breakfast from the following day. And then ultimately our morning staff is offering these things. They have multiple options. So every day for breakfast, there's always fruit and coffee and orange juice, right? That's always there. And then they have options of they can have yogurt if they like, they can have cereal, or they can have oatmeal. Those are always there in the pantry that our caregivers can get for our residents. But then there's also a hot item that the chef prepared the day before. So whether that's like breakfast burritos or that's like a frittata or something else, even simpler things like muffins and things, right? The breakfast is done without the chef being there live. And I think really this is because I can provide the best care in this way because my grandmas are getting up 2 at a time instead of getting everybody to the table at 8 a.m. and having chef drop, formal eggs and bacons and things like that. That's not really practical. So I want chef to be there live for lunch and for dinner, right? And then prep for breakfast the following day. Now you could do the opposite. People sometimes have chef be there live for breakfast and then prep casseroles and things like that. That's not me. I don't like that at all. I think that's pretty not quality food, right? I hate the slop in the casseroles and lasagna and stuff like that. I'll have that every now and again, but I want a fantastic meal, right? That's there served for dinner that I can post on Facebook and I can show the families. And it's just really a kind of restaurant style environment for lunch and for dinner. So that's really what I want to focus on as we're talking about the template, is really lunch and dinner, right? Because I have all these different categories. So for lunch, I have the following categories. There's brunch, there's salads, there's Mexican, there's Asian food, there's fish, there's hot sandwiches, and there's cold sandwiches. So I'm able to mix up these categories. I may have all 7 of them on the menu, 1 per day, or I may go through a season where I don't want to have brunch anymore on Sundays, and we take brunch off the menu, and perhaps it's 2 days of Mexican or an extra day of Asian food or whatever it is, right? It is case by case, and this is why I like these categories, because I'm in Texas. People love certain types of food here, right? They like Tex-Mex and barbecue and all these kind of things. But if you're in a totally different area, they may not like barbecue at all, right? They may want to have Indian food or curries and things like that, right? The template can be adjusted. You don't have to worry about the food. All you got to do is create another category, right? If you don't want to serve fish in your assisted living, then just take away that category, right? And just replace it with another category or double up on the template. That's why I like this, because when there's a problem, it is not a menu item problem. It's just a template issue, right? You can just switch the template over the next month. As you're getting into more seasonal foods, you can just rotate it. Hot seasons and cold seasons, more salads or more soups. Like, how is the weather changing? You can adjust for these kind of things. And then for my dinner categories, I have 6 other categories. There's country, barbecue, there's soups, there's heavy meat, there's also pasta and easy bake options. So here's how I do this, right? Every single day, I will plug in different things. I'll have a different category for each of my dinner items. But now let's talk about these categories, because really my category is just a list of all the different things. So if I have pasta as a category, I'll probably have between 10 and 20 different pasta items that our grandmas like to eat, and that's on this list here. When we're talking about cold sandwiches, right? I have all sorts of different lists of, sub sandwiches and things that are cold that can be prepped, versus hot sandwiches, which may be including hamburgers and Reubens and all those kind of things, right? I can plug and play the different categories into my template based on the likes and dislikes of the people that are living in my mansion, right? Because honestly, sometimes it just changes, and you'll have like one bossy grandma that's like, we are not doing salad, and then all the other grandmas rallying like, no, that's for rabbits, we're not doing that. And I'm like, all right, I guess we'll take it off the template. So as I'm putting these categories into each part of the week, I'm not just randomly throwing them in there. I think there is a strategy that I want to share with you, because my chef, he works 5 days a week. So there's 2 days where he is not there on one of our mansions, right? So I want to prepare my categories for this. So ultimately, for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert, I have items that are easy and items that are more custom that the chef has to do. So as we're looking at breakfast items, right, he's prepping for the next day. So if he's not there that next day, then my menu template will show, here are simpler things that I don't need a chef to do, right? Instead of breakfast burritos, which has to be cooked, then we're doing pastries or muffins or croissants, right? Something simpler for breakfast. And then the same with lunch. On his 2 days off, right? Right now he's off Saturday and Sundays. So we have hot sandwich and cold sandwich. That is my Saturday is a hot sandwich. He prepped it on Friday, the day before. My caregivers will pop it in the oven, melt the cheese, do its panini thing or whatever it is, right? Serve that with chips or pickles or potato salad, whatever is on the menu. They have something that is pretty simple for them to do for that lunch day. And then the following day, right on Sunday, there is already a cold item, a cold sandwich that he prepped on Friday. All right, so sometimes we order in pizza and other things like that, but that's really the template that you can create. I can adjust for lunch on his days off. And the same with dinner. For dinner on Saturdays, his first day off, he has prepped a soup, right? He prepped a soup from the Friday, his last day of the week, and then he does an easy bake. That's another category I have. And really, easy bake is some type of kind of casserole dish. I'm really just scrubbing through all the different items there and picking, here are the ones that are easy for our caregivers to throw in the oven to serve. It's not going to look sloppy and nasty when they serve it. But stuff like, lasagna or baked ziti or enchiladas, things like that. That's one my easy bake category. So you can take all the meals you have and split them into, here's stuff that my chef needs to cook, and here's stuff that my chef doesn't need to cook. Even for dessert, right? Instead of baking pies or cakes or serving things like that, it's just like ice cream and sundaes and banana splits and things like that. Pretty simple stuff that our caregivers can scoop out some ice cream, throw a brownie or cookie on it, put a little sprinkles or something on it, right? And serve that for desserts on the chef's day off. So with this template and these categories, you can solve for the problems that you have. If you have problems with, hey, I have days off, how do I handle this? Then pick the easiest items and create categories for that. Same with food waste. This is one of the reasons why I use brunch. I like to have omelets and bacon and sausage and anything like that for breakfast items instead of having it be wasted, right? And throwing things away or having stuff extra. On the day that I have my orders coming, that may be a brunch that I schedule. So a lot of times it's the first day of the week for the chef, right? So they're doing a cold kind of pastry on that kind of day. And then he's got a bunch of extra, maybe mushrooms or bacon or sausage, and it's all coming in a delivery that day. This way he's able to make whatever he's got. He's got extra toast and things. Let's make French toast. Let's use up all the strawberries. Let's make some whipped cream. He can use up all the items in a brunch day. It's less of a formal, you have to make this and this and this, and more of a, let's use everything up because we have our new food coming for this week. And I use the same principle for the soup. I put the soup at the end of the week and I'll put less restrictions on it, right? It's really like whatever veggies we have left, right? Let's throw that into the soup. I don't want to have a bunch of waste by the end of the week because you're going to have your days off and then nothing else is going to get cooked, and then we're bringing on new food on your first day, right? You get the delivery your first day of your week. So I think you can structure all these different problems and solve them with the template and with the categories. So the last thing I want to mention is how I implemented AI to do this. I took all of these categories and I took all these templates and I put them in my own custom ChatGPT account, and I told them all these different rules, right? Here is my template. On Monday for lunch, it's this rule. On Tuesday for lunch, it's this rule. Going through my whole list, I want you to only pull from this database, pull these categories, right? Don't repeat items every single week. Have a variety. I want you to know that these are summer-based items. These are winter-based items. So when I say, hey, pull me a 1-month menu for July, it knows that July is hot, right? And it's going to pull from these categories. So you can do some really cool stuff with AI, and I think I'll have another episode where I'll talk about how we implemented this stuff. Ultimately, I can go on AI now with my custom GPT, and within about 5 minutes, I can literally have my entire year done. I'm just gonna say, hey, make me a 1-month menu for January, for February, for March, right? Take into account the seasons, add for variety, and it just like, boom, spits it all out. And then from there, we built in a bunch of different back-end stuff where it'll tell you items for, hey, it's this many chicken breasts, it's this much sausage, don't forget, I wouldn't say don't forget, but it lists out all the different vegetables and things like that, right? So I have that, and literally my manager can do it, my chef can do it, and you have the whole year done, and then you can just go on and order. So that'll be another episode. There's a lot of really exciting and cool stuff that you can do to systematize your kitchen and your chef. But ultimately, here's my goal is I can be a 4-hour-a-week owner, right? Systematizing everything, going step by step, including your kitchen. So I hope this is helpful to you. If you want more information, if you're new to this field and you want to learn about it, I do a free foundations training. Hit our website, memorycaremansion.com, hit the free training section. 3 different courses there, but start with the foundations training. It's entirely free. I go through, here's everything that you should know through the whole journey here. So as you all know, I don't run any ads. I don't sell anything on this. My entire goal is to help people get out of the rat race, to do one big deal that will be life-changing. You can hit financial freedom. You can hit time freedom. You can make $30,000, $40,000 net profit every single month, have millions of dollars in equity from one mansion so that you can choose when you are going to retire. You can travel the world. You can do whatever the heck you want, right? This is my goal, to document my journey, to show people how I can do a one and done deal, and so can you. So if you know someone who needs help, they're unhappy with their job, they need a little bit of encouragement, and you want to show them, here's how to do the mansions, I would ask that you share this episode with them, that you share our foundations training, that you share what we are doing in this niche, that it makes amazing money and it can make a difference in people's lives. So thank you again for joining me. I will see you on the next one.